Take a look at this. Let's play.
This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.
Let's play.
Watch all your favorite classic game shows on Buzzer TV, KBBC Digital Channel 13.7.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
From a top-secret location, it's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring. That's right. Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, Channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Hi, I'm John Malice. Welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. Glad you're along. It's a live program. We're back from vacation here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno, 265-4331. Today, not the focus on media, but the focus is on business, and a business that you're very well familiar with. We're back with our program in just a moment. Of going on vacation and coming back, my friends. We're here live on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. I'm so glad you're here. We were gone for a week. I hope you caught all the programs because I'd say the majority of them were freshly taped programs just for you, the viewer at home. The only one that was a rerun was the one of Stephanie Barusian, of course, of KC24, and her trip back to Armenia, which was a great show, and she was a great interview. But we're back here live now with all live programming this week, and glad to have you back in the saddle. 265-4331. Want to remind you that today's program is sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande of 2020 Optometrics. You know, you got to go out there. More than 2,000 frames to choose from. We appreciate his sponsorship here. And a reminder, you know, later this month we're going to change channels here on Comcast, but for now we're on Comcast channel 187 until further notice. I will keep you posted on what channel and when. Also, if you have over-the-air broadcast with a digital antenna, you can catch us on regular television set. No cable necessary or satellite. It's 43.6, 13.1, 8.1 as well. And in the replay, as you know, a lot of people do watch the replay during the afternoon at 2 o'clock, 13.6 YouTube, and at night, 8 o'clock, prime time, 4.6 Biz TV. You can watch the replay of this program, and you can catch my Twitter account at John Mallows, me. TV. That is the Twitter account right there. It doesn't change, and it won't. I guarantee you that. A couple of notes to pass along before we get started with our program here today on Connect With Me. Want to pass along, even though they're not watching, obviously, but friends and family, we offer condolences to those associated with Frank Gifford, of course, the longtime ABC broadcaster who passed away yesterday. He was a former player for the New York Giants back in the 50s, and one of the original voices, almost the original voice of Monday Night Football. It was Frank Gifford, Howard Cosell, Dandy Don Meredith. My friends, they are all gone. They have all passed away. Of course, Howard and Dandy Don passed away many years ago, and Frank Gifford finally passing away yesterday at the age of 84 of natural causes. And I urge you to go online or somehow rent the movie called Monday Night Mayhem. It is the story of how Monday Night Football originated with the original voice of Keith Jackson, Dandy Don Meredith, And of course, Howard Cosell and then Frank Gifford took over. It was a terrific movie, circa 2002. That's when it was made. Monday Night Mayhem will get you up to date on how Monday Night Football all started on ABC and changed the face of sports television forever. Of course, on television as far as football and sports are concerned. All right, hope you caught Friday's tape program with Doug Vagan. He talked about that maintenance fee on your water bill if you pay it with a credit card or a debit card. Let me tell you, my friends, before I left for vacation, I was very upset. I got very upset because I put my trusty glasses on that I did not buy from Dr. Thomas Casagrande, by the way, and I looked at my water bill. I used less water this past month than I did any previous month, and the bill is $20 higher. Here's the bill right here. I won't go into details about it. It's $20 high. It's $90. So I'm paying more at the pump, so to speak. It's a term. So they can build that water treatment plant out there in southeast Fresno. And for what? I don't know. I mean, it went from $69 a month to $90 a month. I mean, I knew the rates were going to go up. I used less water. Check out your water bill. I guess that's why I brought it up, and Doug Vagan talking about that maintenance fee on Friday if you use your debit or credit card. We're going to look further into that. No comment yet from City Hall. We'll wait for that if it ever comes about. All right, today's program is the Focus on Business. I want to get right to it, my friends, because a very interesting topic. I've been looking forward to this program ever since I booked this guest because I love this industry. And if you can call in at 265-4331, we would appreciate it today. You may have seen them all over the place, all over the city of Fresno. They're in parking lots, they're on street corners, they stick out like a sore thumb. Where are they? What are they? What am I talking about? I want to roll the videotape, my friends, and show you what I am talking about. They are used clothing bins like the one that you're looking at right now, you know, where people drop off their used clothes, shoes, and hats, and so on. In fact, they're all over the state, all over the country, and no, they are not illegal, but there is a behind-the-scenes fight over a multi-million-dollar product raging on the streets of America. It's the fight over who controls the product. Used clothes. Who's selling and to whom? And who is profiting from all this? And who owns these bins? That's what the Salvation Army and the Goodwill Industries want to know. They are two of America's oldest institutions, both nonprofits, and yes, they sell used clothes too. So what's their beef? We'll ask our guest today. But check this out. Ever seen one of these before? Green bins in Fresno? They're owned by a company out of Chicago called Gaia Movement USA, a nonprofit started back in 1999. Bins throughout the country, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Sacramento, Fresno, but no longer in the San Francisco Bay Area. Their mission, get this, is to create awareness about the environment. And they have nothing to do with Goodwill or any other company but themselves. Goodwill was founded by the Reverend Henry Helms in Boston back in 1902. That makes them 113 years old. They expanded in the 1930s, again in the 1950s. Now they're all over the world. The nonprofit, a 501c3, provides jobs, training, employment services, and other community-based programs with people who have disabilities and much more. They get their money to help those in need by selling dishes, shoes, books, clothing, lamps, and much more. In fact, clothing alone has several subcategories, believe it or not. They are known as Goodwill, Good People, Good Jobs. And a good man is live in our studio right now. And believe me, he's a good man. David Miller. He is the president and CEO of the Goodwill Industries. He drove a long way, all the way from Stockton this morning to get here. It's quite a drive. We welcome him in the building. And we're going to ask him about these independent bins making all these claims. Where are those clothes going? Who are they selling it to? Who's making the profit? Are these nonprofits? Is it legal? Are they trying to stop it? Is it cutting into the Goodwill profits? So many questions, so many answers we need to get. 265-4331. Back with our program here. Remember, we're back on vacation. We're live, so call in. Back in a moment.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV Appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
We need help to find this missing child. Erica Parsons was 13 when she disappeared. She was last seen in Salisbury, North Carolina in November of 2011. This is what we believe she looks like today at age 16. If you have any information, please call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. That's 1-800-843-5678.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker.
I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there!
Officer Poncherello, man.
Frank Poncherello.
Well, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada on
Now
Chips.
on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
All right, back here on the program on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. We are live, and the phone number is up there, 265-4331. Glad to be back on vacation, and you were on vacation for a while, too. David Miller, good to see you. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you.
How was your vacation?
Wonderful. I had a chance to go up to the mountains and enjoy some cool weather and some fishing, so rejuvenated, ready to go.
Oh, my. I did a whirlwind tour of the line. I need another vacation just to recoup from my vacation. Does that sound normal?
Yeah, well, if you get down to the LA area, that's usually the case. So
Yeah.
lots of things to see and do.
Oh my gosh sakes, and took my kids and had a great time. But I'm glad we're back here live because it's a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this program for a long time and interested in doing a lot of research over the weekend about these independent bins that have these clothing, you drop off your clothing and used clothing. And I do want to roll the videotape once more. I know we rolled it in the monologue. And it's these independent donation drop-off boxes where you can drop off these used clothes. So what's this all about, David? Put it in perspective for us from your vantage point.
Sure. Goodwill Industries and Salvation Army. We've been around for many, many years, and
almost 100 years.
Yeah, both organizations over 100 years, and we've
Yeah.
assisted our local communities where we've established, where we put roots, both for Goodwill Industries as well as Salvation Army, are in our local communities, and so we've served them for years and years and provided services to folks.
Here's one of those bins in Fresno, and it's independent from either you or the Salvation Army. So what's going on here? It looks pretty scattered, unorganized.
Yeah.
People just dropping stuff off.
Yeah.
Looks like baby seats or whatever. So what's going on with these bins?
They started showing up. These companies realized majority of them are for-profit companies. There are some nonprofits, but they're not local nonprofits. They're folks that get a 501c3 nonprofit status, and then basically just go around placing these bins. Sometimes with permission. Most of the times they're dropped in the middle of the night. property owners have no idea that they've been dropped. They put them at the outskirts of a big shopping center's parking lot and hope that they won't be noticed, or if they are noticed, that they'll think that it's going to a good cause, and so the property manager may or may not say anything. But what they are for-profit bins, so sometimes non-profit, but the merchandise that's donated to these bins do not stay local. They basically take these items, take them out of the local communities, send them off to a giant warehouse, and either they process them to be resold to for-profit thrift stores or sent overseas on the for-profit salvage market.
Wow, we have a call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air live here on Connect with Me.
Good morning. Welcome back, John. I got back from vacation to myself after almost 2 months in Texas.
You were in Texas? Wow, really? What were you doing there?
Visiting my daughter and my grandson, granddaughter, and my son-in-law. I was in the Dallas area.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you're back safe and sound. So what do you think of our guest today on our topic, Goodwill Industries?
Well, I'm glad you have him on because I have to tell him something that maybe they don't know. First of all, you have to watch who you hire for truck drivers to pick up the items. And I'll tell you why. I lived across the street from this couple back in about 1991. And the husband worked, first he drove the truck for the veterans. And every day he would come around noon, back up the truck and unload all the stuff. And on the weekends they had a yard sale. I don't know how they found out. Maybe they found out. He got fired, and then he started working for Goodwill. And then he would do the same thing. He would, at noon, come over to the house, back up the truck, unload, and on the weekends they'd have a yard sale. So I would like to say please, because these are items that benefit, Goodwill. And when you have somebody like this stealing, that's not right.
Yeah. Well, stay on the line just for a minute, ma'am. Go ahead.
Absolutely. We have a loss prevention program, internal loss prevention program at Goodwill Industries, and we have a line, an 800 line that people can call to give us tips anytime there is any kind of stealing that's going on, whether it be the public or even our own employees. And we are aware of this, when we become aware of it, we follow through, we do investigations. We have had employees that we've let go because they have stolen from us. It's very clear when an employee starts with
somebody do that?
Yeah.
Why would somebody steal from their own company that they work for? I never did get that. We're not psychologists, but I've always wondered.
That's one of the things that has gotten to me too, because we are a charity, and so when people do donate to us, like your callers mentioned, these things are donated to us for the benefit of the people we're trying to serve. And so whether it's people outside in the public or our own employees, we try to catch them and we get rid of them immediately.
Yeah, caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Do you donate to the Goodwill? Do you like the Goodwill?
Well, I do. As a matter of fact, I have a bag full of clothing, which is still, in good condition. And many times I wanted to donate, but like I said, I don't like to call the truck because I don't trust them. I don't trust them, and I have friends too that don't trust the people that drive the trucks because they know they might not even get to Goodwill.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we don't have door-to-door pickup with our trucks. That's one of the reasons we don't. We have our donation.
Did you at one time?
Years ago, many years ago. The reason we stopped it is because the feedback that we got from the public, as well as the cost involved in going door-to-door. So one of the things that we're able to do, because we can monitor ourselves as well as make sure the donations get to us, is people can donate at any store or they can donate at our attended donation trailers. So we always have a person there to receive the donation and make sure it's going into the trailer, which goes right to the stores, or directly donate right to our stores, and then it's going in our doors and right onto the sales floor to help the people we're serving.
Yeah, because that way you can ensure that the product gets inside the store.
Absolutely.
And I know I was mentioning before the show when my parents died, it was a very difficult task to empty out their house. Took a couple of years and donated a lot of items and wanted to donate the couches and the chairs and this and that, but I called Goodwill and they said, no, we don't pick up. So I gave those away to friends and family eventually, but gave a lot of stuff to Goodwill. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the Goodwill Industries. We do have another phone call, then we'll take a break. Is that okay, David?
Absolutely.
All right. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Oh, thank you. I'm surprised that I'm sitting there. It seems like the Salvation Army actually provides more of a service if you take the amount that's given back to the community versus their administrative expenses. I'm just curious if you would like to answer that. Thank you.
Sure. It's the Salvation Army, their particular model is to provide assistance to folks who are homeless or in their shelters in one form or another. Our mission with Goodwill Industries has always been employment-based, as taking individuals who have disabilities and disadvantages and having them work in our facilities. And these are the folks that actually break open the bags and the boxes and start sorting through the donations and putting them out on the sales floor. And our goal is to create paychecks. And so when the items are sold in our stores, the profits that are made from those particular items go back into paychecks for the people that we're employing. And one of the things with our particular Goodwill Industries is we definitely pay minimum wage or above, and we benefits, 401k for full-time folks, as well as benefits, time off, vacation, sick leave for even part-time individuals. And so
we provide health care.
We provide health care, insurance, and so all these particular costs are part of running a business, and the proceeds and the profits that we make from selling the items go to provide the benefits, the paychecks to the folks that are working for us. And so it allows us to give a person a hand up, not a hand out, to get a job and get to employment and raise their self-esteem and gain skills that they can use both with us as well as other employers in the community. So there's always been a little bit of a mission difference between the two organizations.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, you're the president and the CEO of what branch?
Of Goodwill Industries of San Joaquin Valley. And so
and that includes this area here?
Yeah, that includes Fresno as well as Clovis. Our territory goes all the way down to Visalia, and then as far north as Lodi. And so everything else in the San Joaquin Valley is we have 17 stores throughout, 3 warehouse locations, and we employ over 300 individuals, people with disabilities and disadvantages. And we also have a separate nonprofit called Goodwill Service Connection, and we contract with the federal government. So our individuals there are employed at the IRS facility here in Fresno, as well as the USDA facility just outside of Fresno. And so the 75% of that workforce has to be people with severe disabilities doing those jobs.
But you don't hire people only with disabilities, only those people with special needs. You hire other people as well.
Absolutely. We hire folks. The majority of the folks we have are people either with disadvantages and or disabilities. So a lot of folks that are coming out of the criminal justice system, they're youth volunteers coming. We have 18 different organizations that contract with us for their volunteers to come work with us in the hopes of learning skills, and then we can employ them, provide them paychecks, and provide a training grounds for them.
Yeah. David Miller is here. He is the president and the CEO of Goodwill Industries of the San Joaquin Valley. That includes Lodi all the way down to where? Visalia. That's a big area. And of course, Lodi is north of Stockton. We all know that. And so you're welcome to call in 265-4331. Show today sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande. Been out there more than 20 years. 2020 Optometrics. Back in just a moment. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Anyway, we're back here on the program on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. We're glad that you're with us today talking about the Goodwill Industries. And we talked, David, initially at the beginning of the program, especially in the monologue, I focused on the independent bins where you drop off those used clothes and all that. And these organizations, they have nothing to do with Goodwill. They have nothing to do with the Salvation Army, which I know you guys are close partners with, even though you're not the same organization. But let's put up on the screen some of these still photos. We have a series of them. And as I read on the internet, these are the bins right here, the green bins. You may have seen them in Fresno, but in the San Francisco Bay Area, I believe these have been banned. This is part of the Gaia Movement. USA. Gaia Movement is a nonprofit that deals with, and their primary goal is to protect, preserve, and try to improve the environment. Now, what else do you know about this company?
They basically they drop off their bins. Sometimes they get permission, sometimes they don't, to have the bins there from the property owners. People unsuspectingly read the mission that they have, donate it, the items that they have to them, put them in the bins. Usually it's a convenience kind of thing as opposed to coming to a Goodwill. And they think they're doing good, but they end up not knowing that their donations leave their community. And it goes to the Bay Area or wherever they're located, their headquarters are now, and they sell these items directly on the salvage market. They don't try to maximize the benefit like Salvation Army and ourselves, Goodwill Industries. We try to get them in our stores to benefit the local folks, generate the dollars to stay locally and serve the locals. Instead, they take the donations right out of the community, sell them on the salvage market for less than they're really worth, and then profit with those dollars to send out of state and sometimes out of countries to benefit their programs.
So let me ask you something. The Gaia Movement, we'll get into some of the other independent bins as well, that have nothing to do with Gaia, but the Gaia Movement, obviously focusing on the environment and trying to improve the environment. What does that have to do with used clothes? And is that just kind of a front for their organization? It's a front name. And what do they use that money for? Where do their clothes go? Who's buying them and who's profiting?
Sure.
And what are they doing with that money? Do we know?
Yeah, I'm not certain because they have a mission that they state, they list kind of thing, but I'm not certain to speak to their particular mission. I do know that the items that they collect and the money that they make off those items do not stay and benefit anything.
Does not stay local.
Does not stay local. Not in the Fresno area, not in the Stockton area, not in my San Joaquin Valley area, that's for certain. So they collect the items, they pick up the items, and then they take them to a warehouse and they sell them on what is called a salvage market, whereby they have, we sell on a salvage market.
Is it legal?
It's legal. It's not illegal to do. Unfortunately, I wish it was. It's unethical because most people donating think they're giving to a good charitable cause of one form or another, but they're not. They're basically just donating something. When they say it's good for the environment, basically they're saying that anything that you donate, anything that you recycle, of course, is good for the environment. Yeah. So that's a broad statement.
Yeah. I guess we have a call. Let's take it. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Caller?
Hi. I have a couple boxes of children's books that my grandkids have all grown out of, and I want to give it to somebody worthy. Can you suggest somebody?
Goodwill Industries, you could provide those to us. We collect books and we put them for sale in our stores, and children's books are great to have in our stores. We have lots of kids that come through, and I know that our shoppers like to have their kids sit there and read a book a lot of times while they're trying to shop and take advantage of. So books definitely are something we take.
Yeah. Anything else, caller?
No, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, too. And I want to get back to these independent boxes because I understand that on the streets all across the country, there is a war raging on. It's almost like a turf war. There has been theft. There has been violence. A lot of these drivers, for example, from what I've read on the internet, the independent drop-off boxes where you drop off the used clothing, some of these truck drivers are making upwards of $200,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Do you find that to be true?
I'm not certain on the statistics.
But you've heard the same thing.
I've heard the same thing. That again, since it's they operate on a for-profit basis, the more bins they can get placed.
The more clothes they collect,
the items they can collect, I'm sure it sounds like maybe they're working on some kind of commission. So
yeah, hang on, caller, go ahead.
So the more pounds that they can collect and get, the more money that they can particularly make. And again, we're seeing box after box in certain bigger communities, boxes after boxes of different for-profits competing against each other just for the box space.
So you have truck drivers competing against each other. Sometimes it turns violent. Sometimes in the middle of the night, a truck driver will drive to a bin that really is not a bin that belongs to him or his company, and he will steal from that bin. Right. And then you have these clothes going maybe overseas to third world countries. How are the people in the third world countries purchasing these items? Who's buying them?
The salvage buyers purchase the items. Again,
hang on, caller, are you there? Caller? Oh, that caller hung up. I'm sorry.
No problem. Again, our items that we collect, we try to maximize and keep them local. So we put those items in our stores and we sell them. And we have it on a rotation basis because we can't have items stay there for a long time. So after about 6 weeks, if an item hasn't sold, we'll take it, we'll bundle it up kind of thing, and we'll sell it on the salvage market. What these box operators do, they don't even basically keep it local or have the locals try to purchase these things being donated. They just take the best of the best, take them out of the community, and then immediately sell them on the salvage market for a higher price.
Yeah, many of these items are going overseas. I don't know if they're going to Angola, I don't know if they're going to Haiti, but third world countries definitely, and they're making a huge profit. Sometimes these truck drivers are making upwards of $10,000, $12,000 a month, up to $200,000 a year. So that's where the turf war is, and it turns violent on the streets of America sometimes, including here in the San Joaquin Valley and all over. My apologies to the caller. I don't know if you got disconnected or got a little disgusted or got a little impatient and didn't want to hang on. Please call back. We'll be glad to take your phone call. 265-4331. Goodwill is here. That young lady who called in, call back. We'll take your call. David Miller's here waiting. 265-4331. Back in a moment. At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Hello, I'm John Walsh. We need your help to capture this fugitive. James Bell is an alleged child predator. Bell's wanted for molesting 3 girls ages 9 through 13 while working at a local YMCA in 2003. He was arrested, then fled. Bell has worked as a gymnastics instructor, coach, and a computer repairman. Bell could be anywhere along the West Coast. If you know where he is, call 617-742-5533.
Connect with me, and we're glad you're here. The focus is on business today, and it's about the Goodwill Industries. And I do want to put up the disclaimer because each and every Tuesday, although this is Monday, tomorrow we're going to talk about the debates. We'll get more into that, but today we thought we'd focus on business, our first day back from vacation. I just want to say David Miller, the president and the CEO, was more than happy to come in. We didn't pay him, he didn't pay us. We try to focus on business here, businesses that have been around for a long time. Sometimes we focus on a business that is fairly new, but this one has been around 113 years. And we want to congratulate them because, you know, Ventura TV has been here since 1951. So we're successful and hope that you continue to be as well. David Miller. Caller, you're there. Go ahead. I hope this is the same call that I had a few minutes ago. Hello, go ahead.
It is not the same call.
Okay.
But my name is Frances Hudson. I want to know what you should do, what we should do with our clothes and things that are outgrown. We want them to do the most good for the people that need them. How do we know who to give them to?
Well, that's a great question. One of the first things you want to try to do is to make sure that you donate to a charity, a 501c3 charity. Goodwill Industries, Salvation Army, those are the names that have been doing this for years. You can trust us because we're here local, we're here in your community, we support the local community. Beyond that, there's Charity Navigator and some other online sites that you can look up and that'll list different organizations that you can trust. Goodwill Industries has, continues to be ranked one of the highest on all the different charitable giving sites as somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can give to. These are folks that investigate and really look into the items to make sure, the organizations to make sure they're legitimate. And again, Goodwill Industries is one of the top rated ones.
Yeah. Any other questions, ma'am?
Always giving things to the Salvation Army, and I'm not sure after listening to this program they're ever getting to the Salvation Army.
Well, if you're giving them to one of these boxes that you've seen, no, they're not. But if you're giving them to the Salvation Army stores or to their trucks that say Salvation Army, as well as the Goodwill Industries trailers in our stores where we accept all donations right at our stores, you can trust that if you're donating to those local charities that have buildings, have brick and mortar buildings, you can trust that you're giving to a good organization.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, ma'am? Go ahead.
We can't trust anybody that comes in a truck. We need to take them there, don't we?
For Goodwill Industries, we don't do home pickup. I believe Salvation Army might. I don't want to speak for this particular area in Salvation Army, but again, the Goodwill Industries doesn't do home pickups, but we are available in the community at many locations.
Yeah. So you probably have so many locations here in Fresno. I can't name them all, but they don't go to your house, ma'am. They don't pick up, but you can find their location. Just look on the internet. There are several locations here in Fresno. You can drop off any kind of clothing that you want, even chairs, furniture, lamps, anything you want.
Yeah, you can go to goodwill-sjv.org, and our website will be right there and give you all the different locations.
Okay, I do want to move on here, and I want to talk a little bit about these bins before we go on to Salvation Army. And from what I read on the internet and doing a lot of research and talking about, and I know we can't believe everything we read on the internet, but some of the research I've done shows that the latest figures from 2011 show that more than $174 million in used clothing were shipped overseas to third world countries like Angola. In fact, Angola leads the world in obtaining or buying or purchasing these used clothes over Canada. I believe Canada is number 2 over, like any other country. So third world countries are obtaining these items, whether it's clothing, whether it's furniture, whatever. Why is that bad? Why is that a bad thing for, say, Goodwill or even the Salvation Army? Why should we be concerned about it?
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad thing that those particular items are going to a third world country that may be in need, but the ultimate goal is to keep the donations local first and have the local benefit. There's a lot of homeless, there's a lot of people looking for jobs and looking for employment and looking for an opportunity right here in Fresno. And so the opportunity is that if you donate local to Goodwill Industries, those items stay local. We benefit the locals, not only the folks that are shopping and getting a discount in our particular stores, but the proceeds go to provide paychecks to the people we're trying to train and place, people with disadvantages and disabilities. And by keeping those items local, it benefits the local community first. If something isn't sold after a given amount of time and it's not going to benefit the local community, then we'll sell it to a salvage dealer who will have an opportunity to sell it overseas. But first and foremost, it should benefit the locals.
Right. Is it cutting into the profits of Goodwill and Salvation Army? And the second part of that question would be, is there any kind of state legislation that perhaps lawmakers are looking at to try to outlaw these bins?
Yeah. Your second question first. Several years ago, about 3 years ago, we had California Goodwills created a
Hang on, caller. Just for a moment, go ahead and finish that thought.
We created legislation. It was AB 1978 that was introduced. It was to basically what we called it was a permission bill. It simply was a bill that said that you have to get permission from the property owner before you can place one of these bins. And if you don't, then the property owner without liability has the opportunity to remove those bins. It passed the legislature, but unfortunately the governor vetoed it because he felt there would be unintended consequences for smaller charities. So we did
unfair competition.
And so we did try that avenue.
Hang on, caller.
So lastly, since that didn't pass, then our ultimate goal is to try to just educate the population.
Like you're doing today.
Like I'm doing today. Get out in the community, say, hey, keep your donations local, give it to Goodwill, it'll benefit and do the most good.
Caller, thank you for being patient. I appreciate it. You're on with David Miller.
Hi. That's great that you guys are able to raise funds for your very worthwhile organizations. However, you're talking about clothing that may not be saleable to American people. There is a homeless shelter. It only accepts 45 women a day. Every other shelter in Fresno is set up only for men. People are discharged from Fresno Community Hospital in their paper clothes. They have no clothing. I did some volunteer work down there in around October, November 2014. When I left, there were no clothing there. So if anybody, it doesn't matter if it's stained, whatever, as long as it covers your body where you can go out in public. A great place. It's over there near the Pavarello house and all that. Now, the things that you can sell, great. Sell those so that we can keep your businesses in business.
Yeah.
But the things that you're saying are just thrown away things, no, there are people desperate. And I saw people eating out of garbage cans down there with their babies in a stroller behind them.
Awful. Awful. Thank you for the call. Let me ask you, that kind of prompts the question, and you can respond to the caller, no problem. You can look directly into the camera there and just respond to the caller. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Just real quickly, please know that any clothing item that's donated to us is recycled. 99.9% of the clothes we get, we recycle. We don't throw them away. So when that word is used, throw them away, I really don't want to make sure people know that that's not happening.
Do you work with women's charities?
We do. We work with a variety of different other charities, and what we try to do is that when we're aware of this particular charity, what we do is we provide Goodwill vouchers, and so people can take these vouchers from the shelter per se. That we give them the vouchers, they monitor, they distribute the vouchers. We just provide the vouchers to a particular shelter. The shelter folks then they're responsible for passing them out, and then people can take those vouchers from the homeless shelter and shop at our Goodwill store in Dignity and get the value they need.
All right, the motto is at Goodwill, I mentioned it before, Goodwill, good people, but keep it local, keep it charitable, and keep it fair. Here's the card that David brought in. There it is right there. Got to go to a break, though. We're going to get to some video and another phone call, 265-4331. A lot of video to get to as well. Dr. Thomas Casagrande is our sponsor today. Back in a moment. At 20/20 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 20/20 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today.
Retro TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
Back here on the program, we have a lot of video to get to here that we shot here locally at the Goodwill stores and through the graciousness of our guest today. He allowed us to go into one of the Goodwill stores here and shoot the video. So let's roll video number 1 from Goodwill. Not sure what location it is, but what difference does it make, my friends? Goodwill is Goodwill. Here's one of your thrift stores right here in the city of Fresno. And I want to go back to the caller as we look at this video. All sorts of items in here. Used clothing, used furniture, use this, use that. But Naomi's Place is a women's shelter here that's affiliated with the Poverillo House. So you don't donate used clothes. You don't give them away to the needy, but how does it work?
Sure. If this particular organization, we try to partner with other nonprofits, and so if this particular organization were to contact us, we would, obviously make sure that they are a nonprofit, 501c3 organization, and if they are, we would be able to provide vouchers to that particular organization that they can distribute to the homeless folks, and then they can take those vouchers directly to our Goodwill store and shop and use the vouchers like money to purchase items that they may need.
I don't want to put you on the spot too much here, but if a homeless person came in and asked for clothing, would you simply give it to them?
We aren't set up for that, but Salvation Army, I believe,
they do that.
That's the difference between the missions.
Yeah.
They provide for the homeless and the folks in need. And our goal is more, though we do vouchers and assist in certain aspects, the majority of what we work for is for employment and selling the items to provide paychecks and job training for the different folks we work with.
Yeah, even those folks who have maybe spent some time in jail, maybe they've had a rough life, maybe trying to get over alcohol or drug addiction, you give second chances to those people.
That's correct. We have a lot of partner agencies that we work with that they send us their vouchers. Sometimes we have, not volunteers, excuse me. Sometimes they have volunteer folks that need to come in to work off community service hours. They can come to Goodwill, work off those hours, and then we discover and they discover that they can get training and then eventually get a job and go to work.
That's wonderful. Roll videotape number 2 from the Goodwill. And just because somebody has had alcohol or drug problems doesn't mean they don't deserve a second chance. And I think that's very commendable of your organization to do that, because a lot of companies won't.
Right.
They just won't do it. They won't hire somebody that has had those types of problems or that kind of history. And so an email question, would you employ a physically impaired veteran? That's one of our email questions here.
Absolutely. In fact, we are currently doing some outreach right now specifically to...
Hang on, caller, just one moment. Go ahead.
No problem. We're doing some outreach right now specifically to folks with who are veterans who have physical disabilities. We have a memorandum of understanding agreement with the Veterans Administration right now here in the Fresno area to employ folks who are disabled vets and give them training and opportunity.
Look at all that clothing. Wow, that's amazing. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
I'm calling about your clothing. I enjoy the Goodwill store. They have brand names in there. I take them home, I wash them, or whatever I need to do. I can't believe how many brands you have that I recognize.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that. I do enjoy going in there and looking around.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, an array of clothing there. And yeah, there are some high-ticket items there, but they're at a low price, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to thanking our donors. It goes all the way back to our donors. Without our lifeblood as our donors, if they are giving to us, that's where those name brands come from, because we have folks that are willing to give to a charity like ours that supports the local community, which then just trickles down to the folks that shop in our stores who knows what their situations are, but again, at a discounted price, they can get a wonderful item.
Yeah. Another email question as we take a look at this video and maybe go into the next one here. This is an email question, David, so not my question, but the used fibers that aren't sold as garments, what happens to them?
At this point in time, the clothes items that we have, we recycle and we reuse in our stores, or again, if they aren't good enough to make our stores, we sell them on the salvage market so that they can be used overseas. So we don't break down the fibers per se. That's not something we're in the business of doing.
You know, I'm looking for a leather jacket. You guys sell leather jackets? The last time I owned a leather jacket, I was living in New York City and bought a leather jacket in New York City. I don't know what happened to it. I don't have it any longer.
To answer your question, yes, we do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, we do. You have to, and I tell people, we get new stuff arrives on our sales floor daily. I mean, so obviously the donations come in, we immediately put it out on our sales floor. So we have daily shoppers because they know there's new items coming out. So
I love that leather jacket I bought in New York. Tight fitting. Loved it. Had fur on the inside. Yeah. Oh, man. Boy. Okay, another email question. What do I do if the drop-off bins are vandalized or if they're overflowing?
Never use them. It's the easy answer.
Do you guys have drop-off bins
we
that
do not,
say...
We do not have bins. We have attended donation center trailers, and they're trailers.
All right, so you have trailers. You don't have bins.
No, they're trailers, and they're attended. So we have an attendant there all the time that they're open. So if you come to our trailer...
About that? Look, here's a guy pulling up.
Yep, this is a back of our store donation. This is our Clovis store. So this is the back of our Clovis store. People drive up, drop off the donations. We have an attendant right there to come meet and greet you, give you a receipt, say thank you to you for donating. It is tax deductible, so we'll give you a receipt for your donation. You determine the value based upon what you're donating, and it's all, again, it's all good. It comes right into that store there, and then off it goes to the sales floor.
Caller, go ahead. You are on the air with David Miller.
I just called a minute ago. You mentioned a leather jacket. My favorite leather jacket came from Goodwill, and I only paid $10 for it.
Oh, wow. I got to check it out. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate it very much as we continue to look at the drop-off here in Clovis. And so, what's your profit margin? 501c3.
Sure.
For the year, let's say.
Our organization as a whole, through San Joaquin Valley, will do $20 million in business this year with 17 stores and 3 warehouses. With that, 85%, more than 85%, goes right into programs and services.
And so, only about 19% of that is used for salaries and benefits.
Actually less than that is used for that.
What's the
it's
amount
about 15% is used for administrative salaries and fundraising and some other types of things, which again, percentage-wise, puts us way high up in regards to being a very legitimate charity.
Right. Hey, we got to take a break. I do want to talk about the history of the Goodwill Industries when we come back. We're with David Miller. He's the president. He is the CEO. He's the chief cook and bottle washer. You'll see him in the kitchen washing dishes as well. That's what the CEO does these days. And he's with his calculator, too. Anyway, it's 265-4331. That's our telephone number here. Being a little goofy toward the end of the show here. But our show today sponsored by Dr. Thomas Casagrande, 2020 Optometrics. Back in just a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
At 2020 Optometric, your vision is their focus. Whether you're 5 or 65, Dr. Thomas Casagrande will get to know you, your lifestyle, and vision needs to ensure that your contacts or eyeglasses are a perfect fit and the right prescription every time. With the Valley's largest selection of eyewear, 2020 has over 2,000 frames, including top designer brands like Coach, Tiffany, Prada, Ray-Ban, Oakley, and more. Eye exams start as low as $89, so call or stop by to schedule your appointment today. All right, back here on the program, and, let's roll the videotape. This is an organization founded back in 1902. What was that, about 113 years ago, huh?
That's correct.
Long before you and I were born,
That's
I'll
right.
tell you that. So, founded by the Reverend Henry Helms in Boston in 1902. What else can you tell us about what went on back then, how this whole thing started?
Sure. He was a Methodist minister, and his first location after becoming a minister was in the lower ends of Boston, and he discovered when he went to his church, especially at the turn of the century.
Was he an immigrant?
No.
Okay.
He was from Iowa,
Okay.
and so he was a Methodist minister, left Iowa to go to Boston, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
His first assignment at the church at the turn of the century, they didn't have a lot of assistance programs, so people turned to the churches. So he found a lot of folks in need outside his church. So he took burlap sacks, went to the nicer ends of Boston, collected donations, and then brought them back to the church. He originally started by just laying them out to try to give them away, and then it became such mass confusion. It was just a free-for-all.
Yeah.
He said there's got to be a better way. So the next time he went up, he brought them back, and he told the people that were outside the church, the ladies, can you come mend the clothes? Men, can you fix the furniture? And they did, and they started basically mending and fixing the items right there at the church, and then they put them out for sale. And the money they made created the paychecks for the ladies and the men at the church that were mending and putting them together, who had needs and had things that they needed needed to take care of in their lives. So that was the whole concept. And we flash forward today, and really, other than just the size and the volume, we're really doing the same thing. We're taking folks that are
So the concept hasn't changed?
Right. Correct.
Really?
Correct.
The vision hasn't changed?
It hasn't. Basically, it's to continue to serve folks who are disadvantaged or disabled and help them come into our organizations. Instead of fixing and mending now, they process the donations. And they take the donations and they put them out into the stores, what we sell, create the paychecks for the people that are doing the work.
Wow. And so back in 1902, I guess Henry Helms, it went by Edgar, I guess.
Correct.
And he wasn't Irish Catholic, was he? He was not.
He was not.
I don't know.
No,
he was not Irish. And we know Boston is predominantly Irish Catholic in that part of the country, of course. But so it's amazing how a business just almost out of the blue was formed out of this wacky idea. Let's lay some clothes out, see if anybody wants them for the needy, and boom, the light went off in his head?
That's right. And he felt from there that they basically did an evangelical kinds of things. They took that same concept and had the Methodist Church start introducing that all the way through the country. We're San Joaquin Valley Goodwill Industries is an offshoot of the San Francisco Goodwill. So originally the San Francisco Goodwill, which is coming up on its 100-year anniversary, started doing the same kind of thing. And the folks that were working there, their goal was to basically share this idea and get other locals throughout California to adopt it. So in 1942, Goodwill Industries of San Joaquin Valley was formed, and we've been here since 1942, serving the valley, collecting donations, serving people with disabilities and disadvantages ever since then.
You know, I just took my kids on a tour of Rodeo Drive for the first time on my vacation. We went to the Gucci store, and I'm looking at these shoes, and I remember looking at shoes and bags in there and all these various items. And so do you sell any Gucci bags that are used?
We've come across a variety of things. Yes, Gucci bags. There's been some Goodwills that have come across original paintings and been able to.
You're kidding.
No, original paintings with some famous artists. And so, again, just amazing what people donate to us and the finds that are made at our stores.
Yeah, it's amazing the array of shoes, the brands, different brands of shoes, and look at the furniture there. You have couches, chairs, recliners.
You bet. Anything that people...
Baby chairs.
With baby chairs, we tend not to, simply for the fact that there's recall, the consumer product safety. Yeah. And again, a lot of the things people need to know that when they donate anything to us, let us make that decision.
Yeah. Caller, go ahead.
Yes. I would just take a few minutes to say thank you to the gentleman that is on the air today, because I go into the Salvation Army and the Goodwill both. I am handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair, and they have some of the best people to help. They go out of their way to help me get what I need or get something down off of the shelf or whatever. I have donated to both, and I do thank both organizations very much for all the help that they give.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a nice call. By the way, I searched vehemently over the weekend for any kind of controversy surrounding Goodwill, and I couldn't find any. Is that standard for the company?
Well, there are issues that we have, but again,
like what? Like what? I couldn't find any.
There's some Goodwills out there. There's a talk right now about sub-minimum wage issue. Back in the Roosevelt administration, FDR, there was a law that was passed at the Department of Labor whereby that in order to serve the most severely disabled and the lowest functioning,
and you still pay minimum wage.
Yeah, but our organization pays minimum wage and above.
And above.
Yes.
So but I couldn't find anything that was really like the Salvation Army has had their issues, I believe, with I don't want to get into it. We had a show about that, but we're not talking about Salvation Army. We're talking about Goodwill. So it's an organization that has thrived and flourished throughout the years, 113 years. And David Miller, unfortunately, I think we're out of time, are we not? We're out of time. Would you come back again?
I would be happy to come back anytime.
All right. I'm glad the focus on business today was on the Goodwill organization, and continued success, my friend.
Thank you very
much. And
much.
We'll call on you again.
Thanks for having me.
All right. David Miller, the president and the CEO of the Goodwill Industries. If you have anything to donate, please do. He is the president and CEO of the San Joaquin Valley from where? Turlock?
No, Stockton.
Stockton.
Stockton is our
Stockton,
headquarters.
all the way down to Visalia. It's a huge area, more than 17 stores.
17 stores.
Wow.
3 warehouses.
All right. Back tomorrow with another show. We'll talk about the presidential debates here tomorrow with Dennis Hart. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.